If you don't remember Beanie Babies, I'll try and make it quick, because right now in 2026, something very similar is happening, with a $6 squishy ball called NeeDoh. And I think what's going on is interesting for reasons that have very little to do with the toy itself. It has more to do with where your money is going, and whether you're noticing. So if you haven't encountered one of these yet, here's what you need to know. NeeDohs are squishy fidget toys, made by a 50-year-old Massachusetts company called Shilling. They come in shapes: cheese, avocado, dumplings, ice cream cones, strawberries. You squish them, they bounce back. Most cost between $3 and $15. And right now, they're the new hot thing. They're sold out everywhere. And I mean sold out. Shilling CEO told Business Insider, quote, "Literally within the first 9 weeks of the year, we've sold out through the whole year's inventory." The company is currently selling NeeDohs at 6 times the rate they did the year before. And searching for NeeDoh just hit an all-time high on Google Trends. Target, Walmart, Five Below, Learning Express, all getting picked clean within hours of restock. And small independent toy stores are limiting customers to only 1 or 2 per person because shipments disappear the day they come in. And on TikTok, what are called NeeDoh Hunting videos keep going viral, with the hashtag pulling in tens of millions of views. And the term NeeDoh Hunting, parents coined it. A lot of the people doing the hunting, they aren't parents. They aren't the kids. They are adults in their 20s and 30s showing up at opening time, hoping to grab one before the resellers do. Or they themselves are resellers. So where does this leave us? A $6 squishy ball lands at Target, grown adults setting alarms, a 50-year-old toy company blowing through a year of inventory in 9 weeks. And I want to talk about why this happens and what it costs you when it does. Because the thing that makes this strange is that NeeDohs, they're not new. Shilling launched NeeDoh in 2017. That is almost 10 years ago. Same squishy rubber, same basic shapes, and for about a decade, they've been a perfectly nice mid-tier fidget toy. So if the product didn't change, what did change? Well, the infrastructure changed. Here's the part that's worth understanding, because once you see it, you'll see it everywhere. For most of the last 20 years, products get popular through advertising. The company spent money on commercials, billboards, magazine spreads, and eventually social media buys. And the buying impulse came from outside, from a brand telling you something existed. And that's not really how things work anymore. What we have now is a system that's been getting more efficient at one specific thing, turning ordinary consumer products into emotional events. And the system runs on 3 engines. The first engine is TikTok, specifically the way TikTok rewards content about finding things: hauls, hunts, restocks, drops. The platform's algorithm cannot tell the difference between content about news, content about emotion, and content about squishy products. It just rewards engagement. And the second engine is artificial scarcity. NeeDohs are actually not that rare. Shilling makes a lot of them. They could probably make a lot more. But the supply chain runs at a steady cadence, and demand spikes happen on social media time, which is hours and not months. So a product that's perfectly normally available becomes sold out because the demand surge outruns the production cycle, and then sold out becomes its own marketing message. And once a thing is hard to get, you are buying the chase. And the third engine, and it's what I call drop culture migrating downward. Drop culture used to belong to streetwear, Supreme, Yeezy, limited releases at very specific times, and lines around the block, resellers flipping for triple that retail price. And that model, it worked for a long time because the products were premium. A pair of sneakers cost $200, and the drama matched that price. But what has happened over the last few years is that drop culture has decoupled from premium pricing. They are now 2 different things. Stanley Cups did it, a wall of bottles did it, Trader Joe's mini totes did it, Labubu did it, and the drama got grafted onto products that cost $10, $12, $20. And NeeDohs, they cost $6. And that's where we are now. The full machinery of streetwear hype, the lines, the resellers, the social media fueled FOMO is now being deployed for products at the price point of a vending machine snack. And the thing is, it's working. Shilling sold a year's worth of NeeDohs in 9 weeks. Pop Mart, the company behind Labubu, hit a market cap of $42 billion before its stock dropped 30% on disappointing earnings. And Stanley went from a 100-year-old work camping brand to a billion-dollar cult phenomenon, and Trader Joe's bag flippers were getting $100 a tote on eBay during peak hype. And all of this is very intentional. The trend machine is the most successful consumer infrastructure that has ever existed. And like all successful systems, it has a cost. And the cost just doesn't show up in the news, it shows up in your bank statement. And here's the number we're sitting with. In 2024, the average American consumer spent $282 per month on impulse purchases. That is $3,381 a year on things they didn't plan to buy. And that number has been trending up. If you are a millennial like myself, that number is higher. Millennials report averaging over $1,000 a year just on social media discovered impulse buys, and Gen Z, $850. And that's not even total impulse spending, it's just the part that came from scrolling. And before you say that's not me, I'll point out that 89% of shoppers admit to making impulse purchases. And most of us are in this. The question isn't whether the system is working on you, the question is whether you're tracking it. And here's the part the system depends on. Most of us are not. A NeeDoh costs $6, and that feels like nothing. But the people in the TikTok videos really have one NeeDoh. They have collections. They have the cheese, the avocado, the dumpling, the ice cream, the duplicate cheese they grabbed because someone was about to reach for the last one. A casual collector runs $40 to $60, and a real collection, which the algorithm rewards by showing you, runs into hundreds. The same algorithmic infrastructure is showing them Stanley Cups, Owala bottles, Trader Joe's seasonal tote bags, the Era 1 strawberry glaze, and each individual purchase feels like a treat. $6 for a fidget, $40 for a tumbler, $20 for a tote, and none of them feel like a financial decision. And that's the whole point. But the math, it compounds. The number is $282 a month. That is $3,400 a year in over 5 years, with even modest investment returns. That is $22,000, not in toys, in a brokerage account. And I'm not telling you that to make you feel bad about your fidget toy. I am telling you because the gap between this is fine, it's $6, and I'm spending the equivalent of a used car on small treats is exactly the gap the system is designed to obscure. Economists call it the lipstick index, or more recently, the lipstick effect. And the idea is that during economically uncertain times, people don't stop spending, they redirect it. They might give up the vacation, but they keep the daily cold brew. And there are reports that 68% of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck. When people feel financially squeezed, they cut the things that show up on a budget spreadsheet, the big stuff, travel, restaurants, gym. What they don't cut is the small stuff. The $6 fidget, the $15 candle, the $30 Trader Joe's bag. Because each one feels great. It feels like a treat and not a line item. The other quiet engine in all of this is Buy Now Pay Later, Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. The little split into 4 payments buttons that have started appearing on increasingly smaller purchases. 25% of Buy Now Pay Later users are now using it for groceries. The same financing tool that used to be for couches and washing machines is now financing a $100 Sephora order or a Stanley Cup or a burrito. And 42% of Buy Now Pay Later users had at least one late payment in 2025. That number was 34% 2 years ago. Basically, it's getting worse. So when I show you a NeeDoh Hunt video, what you're actually looking at is a person whose $6 fidget might be the visible end of a much longer chain of small treats financed in installments, of grocery bills moved to Buy Now Pay Later. I don't want to make you feel bad about buying a fidget toy. What I want is for the math to be visible. And most of what makes the system effective is invisibility. Each purchase alone is below the threshold of attention. And the system is hoping that you don't add them up. And the day you start adding them up, you see things a lot differently. Maybe you keep buying them, maybe you don't, but you are making the call deliberately, and that swipe more intentional instead of just getting played. And track what you spend on small treats just for a month, just one. And most people are surprised, and a lot of people are shocked. If the number's small and you're happy with it, that's a real answer. You're getting joy out of your purchases, and that's wonderful. And if the number's bigger than you expected, that's also great. It's a real answer. The point isn't to feel guilty, it's to notice that the system has been quietly running on you. And that's it. Let me know what you think about NeeDoh and this consumer culture we live in that's quietly draining our lives and wallets in the comments below. And if you enjoy videos like this blend of consumerism, pop culture, and finance, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos. Thank you very much for watching. If this video resonated, I've actually been writing about this pattern in other places, and my last video applied the same argument to the beauty industry. So whether you know someone who buys too much skincare product, or you yourself do, if you want the skincare version of all of this, it's a natural pair with this one. It's also why I built a skincare app called Haru, in a different context, honest tracking, instead of marketing claims. Links in the description if that's interesting to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.